Ladies and gentlemen, what is real and what is illusion? Who is a prisoner? The man in shackles? Or the man who will not let his imagination run free? I designed this capsule not to answer those questions, but to ask them once again. And for that, I will need a collaborator.
Greetings, friend.
One of
Greetings. Glad to have you with us today. Glad to be here today. So, let's jump right into it. Today we're talking about the sun. I think it is pretty good subject to talk about, and something that I wanted to discuss with you. I'm concerned with what I've been seeing in our skies lately, and I have been vigilant about taking those things that I am concerned about and bringing them to you. So right now I'm actually waiting on making sure that our feed is going live, because I'm not seeing any.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is real and what is illusion? Who is a prisoner? The man in shackles? Or the man who will not let his imagination run free? I designed this capsule not to answer those questions, but to ask them once again. And for that, I will need a collaborator.
Greetings, friends and fellow skeptics, fellow travelers. Welcome. Glad to have you today. I think that we can all agree that our weather is directly by the influences of the sun. As of late, our weather has been a little bit strange, especially from March till today, which is April the 9th, 2018. For a planet which is experiencing man-made climate change and global warming, it seems not to be warming at all, and the climate change seems to be completely off tilt, and humans may not have much to do with it, if not nothing at all. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to go outside as of late. Today, where I'm at in the Northeast, it's snowing. That is strange to me. I don't know about you, but that is not the weather that I'm accustomed to. So I have been looking into a lot of different things as far as what the story is, and as many of you folks know, there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there regarding our sun and this whole idea of we may be shifted in our reality, in our universe. And they may have put us in front of a star that is dying. I want you to take a look at a couple of things, a couple of videos. First of all, these are recent. And these are pictures of our sun. And if you notice, we have big gaping holes now in the sun. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, or if this is a normal thing or not, but it seems like there are vast amounts of our sun that have these giant holes in them, and these coronal holes are firing out massive flares. And here's one right now I'm showing you. And if you notice, look at how massive this flare is coming off of the sun. Boom, look at that. Isn't that insane? To me, that is absolutely insane. So there has been this idea circulating around that there is a lens that our governments, not just our government, but governments, have put in our atmosphere to act as a shield, to act as an amplifier, and to act as a fake sun. And there's plenty of evidence on YouTube about this. Not YouTube, I'm sorry, not YouTube, but Google. If you go to Google Patents, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Here's the first patent of the sun. You can see it directing sunlight to the array, because that's what this would be, and then they can aim it towards the Earth. And there's been talk about this thing malfunctioning. I'm just showing you some of the documents that are on Google Earth regarding this, just because I think it's important for you to see. And these are some of the, if you want to screenshot these, so be it. You can look at them a little bit more in depth yourself. And you can see exactly how it works. And I got another one here for you. And then I believe that this here itself is the actual patent for it. So you say, okay, so there's a patent for it, big deal. There's a lot of patents out there. There's a lot of patents that are that exist for products that aren't necessarily not necessarily have come to market. So I just want to show you something. There's been a couple of videos out there of this thing malfunctioning, and I find this to be interesting. Look at that. Wherever it was shining down on, you can see that something was happening, and this doesn't look to be just like a normal camera issue. This looks to be something totally different. And then let's take a look at this, because people notice right off the bat that the sun is flickering. And so let's move over to this. Check this out. More of the sun flickering, and these are all from different folks. This isn't just one person. And the way that it's strobing is uniform. I'm going to do one more for you. Okay, hold on. Learning a new system is always lots of fun. All right, here we go. Do this one next. Let's see. Oh, that won't let go. Of course. So, hold on one second. Let me figure out our little thing here. The actual device which is controlling everything. See if it will do it now. I know one thing, it won't make the, here, we'll do this. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. And this should work a little bit easier. There, check this out. Here's another one. Look at how intense it gets, and then boom. Flashes. It's really weird. You know, I'll tell you what, that's strange, isn't it? Man, that is just weird. But that's what's happening in our sky. You know, if it's a camera trick, it seems to be a pretty consistent camera trick. And then there's the chemtrails. We talked about chemtrails in earlier videos. And check this out. This is outside of the skeptic's house today. Where is it? We gotta find it. You ever notice that whenever you want something to work a certain way, it doesn't work the way exactly that you want it, so you have to make it, you have to sort of make it happen on the fly? Well, that is exactly what is happening right now. So I'm going to show you this, because it's worth your time. This is a shot that I took outside my home, and if you notice, there's a line in front of my in front of the sun there, And the reason is because they had been spraying this morning when I took my little paranoid skeptic off to school. Um, there was heavy chemtrailing. So right before I took this video or started shooting this live stream, sorry about that. This is what I saw, and I thought I'd share it with you. Here's another one. Look at that. You can actually see the line in front of the sun. Isn't that crazy? So, the fact that we've been having snow, a lot of snow in April, consistent snow in April, um, that's not normal. That's not normal. Not anything I remember. For a planet that is getting warmer, that doesn't make sense to me. How about you? So, let me ask you this question: Why would this be? Why would we need to have a lens? And I have to go back to this these coronal holes. I mean, they're massive. They're absolutely massive. Um, I mean, if you think about it, if you look at the top of the sun and the bottom of the sun, that looks like a flame getting ready to flicker out, doesn't it? I've seen that before on the head of a match. It looks like it's running out of fuel, doesn't it? I mean, let's be frank with one another. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I mean, wouldn't that be a reason that we would need to maybe
Ladies and gentlemen, what is real and what is illusion? Who is a prisoner? The man in shackles? Or the man who will not let his imagination run free? I designed this test not to answer those questions, but to ask them once again. And for that, I will need a collaborator. One of you.
All right, we're back. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this helps out at all. If we have any volume whatsoever, I apologize. My meter says we are nice and loud, nice and proud. Yay, sound. Good. Glad to hear it. Weird things do happen, and a lot of weird things happen when it comes to the paranoid skeptic and what we're doing here. We're always being censored, we're always being stopped. Trust me, especially when it comes to this discussion. For whatever reason, nobody wants us to be having this discussion. So let me know if we're going to be, let's try again. Let me know if our sound should happen to die again. 11:20 a.m. on the 9th of April, Monday morning. You are with the Paranoid Skeptic. We are live streaming this morning, and we are talking about the sun or the lack thereof. We're talking about chemtrailing. We are talking about the problems with our skies and the crazy weather that we're having. Now, I don't know about you, I am up here in the Northeast, and it is cold, unusually cold. Around this time of year, we are waiting, we're usually expecting the trees to blossom and the flowers to blossom and the birds and the squirrels and the bugs to come out. So far, we have birds, so far we have squirrels, but bugs, flowers, trees blossoming, flowers blossoming, vegetation in general blossoming, or at least showing signs of life, it is not happening. It is concerning too. It is a concerning thought to think that, first of all, that we're monkeying with our weather to such a degree, or we're monkeying with our existence to such a degree, that now our vegetation is delayed in growing. This could create problems down the road, especially as far as harvests go, especially as far as food supplies go. This could be a long-term problem. And of course, we see with the die-offs of birds, fish, dolphins, mammals, lots of mass die-offs, and it's happening daily, folks. If you Google search list of mass die-offs, I promise you, especially for 2018, I promise you that you will not be happy with what you see. A lot of craziness happening on our planet. So, let's jump to what we were talking about before as far as the coronal holes. Now, again, and this is probably what got us shut off to begin with, at least our sound guild. The idea of the sun and the lack of fuel, the color of the sun, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's been different. It's almost been a pale yellow or almost a white. And it seems like, almost like, I feel like that we are at an illusionist show, and the illusionist is the shadow or government, or the real folks who are in charge, and for whatever reason, their illusion is malfunctioning, and so they have to hide it from us. They're like the great David Copperfields of the world. They've got to hide this illusion going wrong, and yeah, I have lots of questions. I don't know about you. They try to shame you if you call your representative, but if you start presenting facts, you start presenting them with facts and you start showing them proof. They want to immediately label you as a lunatic or a nut, and I get it, I understand, but here's the thing that I know. First of all, coronal holes are becoming more and more frequent, and they may be the reason that we need artificial aid. On both sides of the spectrum. On one end to warm our planet, and on the other end to dilute the sun and to prevent it from damaging us, and to protect us from coronal ejections. And you know what? if we have shifted to a star that's not stable, there have to be people obviously who know what's going on. And I mean, there's a reason why Noah shut off the Falcon 9 uh, cameras. All right, what are they trying to hide? Why does the view of Earth or the view of space from space have to be controlled? Why does that have to be a thing? It's supposed to be space, open, free. All of a sudden, we have humans now saying, well, you can't look at this part of space or this part of Earth from space, or whatever. I mean, that's a far reach for any government to think that it can actually control all of outer space. But that's exactly what we have going on. And if you launch from this country, let it be known that you have certain licenses that you're going to have. They are required in order for you to have your cameras on the side of your private rocket. And I'm sure Spaceship One is going to be, I'll tell you what, we've had the technology to get people off of this rock for a long time. All right, Richard Branson, remember him, Spaceship One? He's gonna, have flights to outer space, and he was going to be doing that, like, I thought right away after Spaceship One had a successful launch. And they're now on Spaceship Two. Not with any type of launch that or any vehicle that can take you and I into outer space and to experience that reality. So that's not happening. Instead, what we have is we have a sun that looks like things are going wrong on it, and looks like things are going wrong damn fast. What do you think? Well, all right, listen. Back into the fray here for a second. Apologize. I just wanted to take a look over at what was happening with our comments. I see a lot of really good comments popping up, and it's interesting for me, honestly, to read your thoughts. I apologize for the sudden darkness. Operating this system is a somewhat new thing for me, so I'm always trying to upgrade. I'm always trying to make our system run more efficiently and cleanly, so that we can have proper communication between you and I. So, back to the issue of our sun and our government. So, the idea that I'm having is quite simple. Is that we really do have to organize in more of a professional way, as people who understand that we have a lot of really crazy things happening, and most likely due to quantum shifting, most likely due to CERN. But there seems to be a lot going on in this mix. I'm not going to lie to you. There seems to be a tremendous amount of activity from all over the spectrum. One of the other things that I've been digging into is the whole idea of the how AI plays into this. And I'm wondering if they have D-Wave involved with this Sunlands or whatever in the world's going on, because they obviously are integrating D-Wave with AI, and I can only imagine where they are at this point. They don't report everything out to us as to what their findings are, or as to what exactly is going on. But we definitely have a convergence. We have a convergence coming down the pipe for us. And what concerns me about it is that it seems to be an equation that is involving our annihilation, our extermination. And I'm not calling for doomsday or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that we seem to have a bunch of different forces which seem to be not connected, but they are obviously connected, marching towards a single goal. And as I look at our weather outside, and as I see the chemtrails that are being sprayed over us, and as I see the rise of AI, and I see everybody forgetting our past, right? Because that's what's happening with all of us. We're stupid. We don't remember our past. We're just simple. This is what have I read about this so far? Oh, it's an experiment that's gone. That is rooted in deception. That there's this force out there just simply trying to cause chaos and cause people to be confused, and that that reality is reality, and we just don't remember things properly, and that's because of this huge conspiracy to confuse the populace. I don't know. To me, that doesn't even seem right. That doesn't even seem smart. Um, why? What's the purpose in that? Again, I can easily go back to CERN, or I can go back to the Edison collider that we have over here in Chicago. We can look at these different colliders and realize that they are on the same mission, which is colliding particles. And when I say particles, it's exotic metals. It's anything that they can pretty much find to see what type of reaction they're going to have. And that, I think, is probably the most frightening, because I'm not going to say it's willy-nilly, but what we're talking about here is, did we make a jump in dimensions? Okay, people who are on this channel are probably going, yeah, we absolutely did. But so was that a mistake? Was that their intent from the beginning, or were they trying to make antimatter, or were they trying to do something else? And the end result was that we shifted our reality, or shifted dimensions, or that we added weight to a single electron and imploded our last reality. Was that, I mean, think about it. Think about when you screw up. I mean, we try to fix it. And sometimes we don't necessarily own up to it. Sometimes we act like that's the way it was supposed to be all along. And I think that that's sort of maybe what we have going on here with CERN. Because, I mean, seriously, who in their right mind would want to take a chance of imploding our universe and shifting over to an alternate reality that only God knows what the outcome could be? Only God Himself could know what the outcome of that type of experiment could be. That's a crazy leap. You and I have to agree that would be somebody who is manic depressive, has suicidal tendencies. They're in charge of CERN, and they secretly, yes, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to implode our last universe and see what becomes of it when we shift over into this next one, if we do at all, if we don't incinerate ourselves or whatever. I mean, that's maniacally ridiculous. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. Of course, what they're doing over there at CERN, a lot of it is making no sense. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, scientists, even in a mock ritual out in front of Shiva, again, which makes no sense. If we're going to be scientists, and if we're going to separate science from religion, why is the very first thing that we do is put something religious in front of it, especially something that has a negative association? It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Pardon me. So, with that being said, I look into what they're doing, and I think to myself, well, obviously they're part of this reality. Obviously, if you've made a quantum fracture, there could be fissures all over the place. I mean, let me ask you this question, guys, and I'm dead serious. Why do you think Sally Fields is so... I mean, anything that's attached to her has been changed? Why is that? We know that she's made several visits to CERN. We know that her brother works for CERN. We know that they've done experiments while she's there. So my big question I mean, that's to me a huge clue. That is a huge clue because, I mean, everything that is attached to Sally Fields, you love me, you really, really love me, or you like me, really, really like me, whatever. We we know that a lot centers around her. Forrest Gump movies. I mean, there's so much when it comes to her. Why her in particular? Maybe she was there during an event, an event that was spectacular. Maybe, maybe something, altered with her in her reality. And I have no idea. But if you notice, a lot of things that are Mandela effect related, why they revolve around her. So, and yep, Char, you're absolutely right. Her brother does work for CERN. You're absolutely right. And there's lots of video with Sally Field and her brother. Lots of photos. She's there actually quite a bit. For an actress and for a sister. She's there actually quite a bit, and there's a lot of photographic evidence of that. They aren't shy about it, I mean, to what they would consider to be a normal view world, why not? She's just another citizen, just another person who's got an interest within this. But those of us who are thinking, Mandela, we think that something is definitely awry. So, and I don't know if again, if it's unwitted, I cannot think that it is, because obviously, at this point, if they know it's the mistake, and I'm not going to say they've owned up to it, but I mean, when you have scientists who are dropping clues, I mean, here's the thing. Playing with the general public, that's one thing. And I don't mean to get coarse here, but they're effing, man. They are effing with the general public. It's a lot different. And you know what I mean when I say effing. They are screwing with us. Okay? Taunting. That's not something a normal person does. That's not somebody who is trying to project a positive image about the science that they are pursuing. Screwing with the public, I don't know. It does not. First of all, there's no reason for it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Why do it? Why have the satanic? Why stoke the fire of conspiracy around your organization, which is already fully funded and fully supported by governments? Why turn around and screw with people who are already nervous about what you're doing? And I guess that's where I'm left scratching my head. And that's where I'm also left doubting CERN, and I'm doubting the veracity. I'm doubting what they're saying to us. I'm doubting their truth. I'm doubting what's coming out of there. And I'm not doubting the power of what's going on there by any stretch of the means, but I am doubting their veracity. I'm doubting their honesty. I'm doubting their I don't know, their ability to project themselves as professionals. They have me in doubt. They're very, very, very intelligent people. Do not get me wrong. But to screw with the average Joe who's got questions, to dismiss it in the way that it's being dismissed, when you look at Jordy Rose of D-Wave, his almost contemptible dismissal of the whole Mandela effect. I mean, you can see it on his face. He's disgusted by it, and you know, and I think someone also. I'm not even going to say amused. I think that he's absolutely. I think that he is. I don't know. I don't know. His attitude is definitely bizarre as far as it goes, and to bring it up and then to ridicule it the way that he does, it's just, I don't know. It's almost contemptible, and that's the way somebody behaves when they, you know, are dead wrong about something and they're trying to bully uh, everyone else around them to get on board with what the thought is. And don't get me wrong, I know, again, very smart individual, very intelligent person, but to shame an entire community of people who are questioning, who are, let's be honest, nervous, okay, concerned about what's going on. Because listen, you know, Jordy, you aren't just screwing with your reality, you're screwing with ours as well. And nobody's giving you that right. Just like nobody's given whoever has determined that it's okay to spray us with aluminum, barium, and strontium. I mean, you're out of your damn mind. Nobody's giving you permission. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has given you permission to do that, except for some shadowy person, some shadow government, you know, entity, you know, someone who has convinced pilots to betray humanity and to spray humanity with the substance for whatever purpose, under whatever guise. I mean, you know, to allow Monsanto to create Franken vegetables, Franken fruit, to create Franken everything. Jeez, oh Pete, you know, to allow this to be dispersed to the rest of us, you know, it should be illegal. And I would not be surprised if my sound starts going out sooner than later, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. My big question, though, is do they keep running these different particle collisions in hope of making a quantum shift that's going to put us back to closer to where we were initially when we started? I really don't know. What I do know is winter in April is not part of our normal weather pattern. And the idea of the sun blinking is a weird notion. The idea of having coronal holes where you can fit 1,000, 10,000 of our planets within that hole is concerning. The idea that that they are not being completely forthwith as far as what is really going on is also concerning to me. And you know, let's be frank with one another, folks. We don't live in the 70s anymore. I remember the day when if you needed to make a call to somebody and you were out on the street, you needed to have two things. First of all, you need to have at least 20 cents in your pocket. And second of all, you needed to be in the vicinity of a payphone. That's not today. Today our phones go with us. Our cameras go with us. Our video recorders go with us. Our audio recorders go with us. Our games, our communication with one another through social media, it all goes with us. We are never, ever alone. You and I are never, ever alone. And the fact that we can't come together like, I don't know, blood congealing, right? Coagulating, coming together, right? That is the way that we should be. Because I'll tell you what, friend, I'll tell you what, our blood is on the line. Who we are is on the line. And it's time for someone to make these people who are doing this accountable and finding out the reason why. We need to know what this agenda is. We are affected. Now, I'm not going to get religious with you because I'm not a real big fan of spouting religion on people. I think that everybody has the right to find their own way. My way is Christian, okay? And I look back into the Old Testament, to the days of Noah and the days of Methuselah. You say, oh, Tim, where are you going with this? No, we're religious, trust me. But if you look at their account as in a historical account, okay, Noah lived 940 years, right? Methuselah lived around the same. All right, now granted, the calendars were different, the way that we calculated things were different, but we do understand that a season is a season, and we can count seasons, and I'm sure that's exactly what they were doing when they were figuring out exactly how old they were. Humans lived longer at one time. Somewhere along the way, we've injected things into our lives, such as cancers, from all sorts of different things. You know, hey, Betty got cancer. How did she get cancer? Well, she was a smoker. Okay. Oh, Dr. Francis, how did Dr. Francis get cancer? She wasn't a smoker. Good question. You know, maybe she was standing too close to an x-ray machine too many times. Whatever it is, we've seen to introduce the idea of corrosive death to ourselves, on ourselves, and we seem to embrace that. Sometimes I think our technology and the way that we live and the way that we interact with our reality is ridiculous. We'll sacrifice good, clean health for temporary comfortable living, or living that changes annually, or whatever, or even how we pollute ourselves with our vehicles. And I'm not pointing my finger at anyone. I drive a car. I chill out on plastic chairs just like the rest of everybody, and I embrace the same society that you and I do. But I do think that a lot of the rampant cancer that we see, rampant disease that we see, it's artificial. And I think that having an entity or some form of government entity determining that what is best for you and I is to blanket our skies with chemicals and to block our view from the sun for whatever reason. I don't know about you, but I haven't given any of these people permission to do any of that. And I'm frustrated. I'm absolutely frustrated by the idea that they feel that they can do this and that they aren't accountable to anybody with doing it. So, I don't know. I think that the one thing that they will hear, as many politicians will always pay attention to, are voices that vote. Would you not agree? In my opinion, that is our one ticket to salvation, is being voices that absolutely have no problem picking up the phone, picking up a pen and paper, or going to their computer and letting their congressman or their representative or even their president know that this is unacceptable. It's an honor to count you amongst the believers of what we do here at Paranoid Skeptics, so thank you. If this content resonates with you, please subscribe. If you believe in this video, please share it. If you want alerts for when new videos are released, hit the alert bell and give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to leave your own theories on today's videos and comments below. More communication on this subject and other important phenomena will be forthcoming in future videos. End communication.